Let's talk about the shooting itself. How everything happens step by step. Is it luck? Or maybe something more? You may be surprised, but there is no special secret how this or that photo was taken. Actually, it's quite simple. The main point is to find an interesting place. Then just try to imagine how it might turn out if a person passes here or there. As for example, in this case, I saw the shop window with these icons. I walked in different directions and observed how people would fit into the story. Not the people themselves, but their reflections. I stopped at the place I chose, then the waiting started. I was waiting and waiting, just needed the right person. The right person in street photography is the one who most harmoniously fits into your idea. In this case, I remember I stood with the camera ready for about 40 minutes. And just waited for my right person. Well, as you see, it was worth it. He appeared. Same story here. First, I found the most profitable angle. Let's go it that way. Then I started praying for the person to pass. I must just say that when you shoot in this way, very often in the frame you will have not what you expected. We'll cover it later on in the course again. I mean, you simply have to be prepared not to miss something just because you didn't expect it. Here, for example, I was thinking about one person against the background of a tram line and a monument in the distance. I took shots like these. They are not bad, I'd admit, and there is nothing extraordinary in them at the same time. I was shooting what I wanted. Be careful just. Often enough, photographers get kind of overwhelmed with an idea, up to the moment when they can't see another story happening in front of their eyes. Because of that, quite more interesting stories may be missed. And it's a problem. I think of these unexpected stories as a bonus for your efforts and for your patience. Mentioning the bonus, keep in mind we'll speak about bonuses in this context later on in the course as well. So, out of all of the photos I took, I chose this one. This one not by chance. It's interesting because there are quite well located people here. There is a leading compositional object. You know what's this now. There is the golden ratio as well. Plus a lot of graphical elements in here. It's winter. It's cool to shoot. I spent about an hour at this place. It was really cold. But I think it was worth it. Another interesting point here. While I was shooting, I didn't forget the other side of the road as well. People were coming here, people were going there. Here, you see the background is the monument. The lines are straight. The people are at their full height. There, the other side, people were also crossing. Just the background was not worth it. The lines were curved. In short, I needed a different perspective. Well, here's what I came up with. Only feet crossing the lines, the curved lines. I could play with composition till I was satisfied. You see, one and the same place, one and the same monument, well, absolutely different stories at the same time. Of course, almost everything depends on luck and the right legs. Mentioning the right legs, it's really important to pay a little bit more attention to body language and to the right person. Here's another example to show you what I mean. Take a look at it. Here I saw the inverted sign and it seemed funny to shoot a walking person. I found the most preferable angle one more time and just started waited for someone. Of course, I needed the right person with the right legs. You see clearly what I mean now, I hope. You've already seen this photo. It's difficult and completely compositional, let me describe it that way. On top of it all, there is cool atmosphere in it. Here, of course, it was not as simple as in the previous examples. Due to the fact that the tram is constantly moving, the picture in front of your eyes changes. It also shakes constantly. I had to hold on with one of my hands and stabilize the camera with the other one. What attracted me here was the cross from the handrails. I hoped very much that a person would appear, in order to create the composition that I wanted. Another confirmation that if you leave your warm and cozy place at the weekend, at the moment when you just want to watch a movie and take a rest, if you go out and start shooting, the chance to take a good photo is greatly increased. Another piece of advice: try to predict how the situation may develop. Just don't stop shooting. Take the most out of each situation, out of each story. In this way, your chances of taking an interesting shot would increase dramatically. Look at the image in front of us. Here the shepherd just standing and smoking, so this was what I was shooting. Then he went back and forth talking on the phone, and I kept shooting. It seemed that I had already done my part there. I had a photo from here, but I didn't leave, just I had a good feeling. After all, what happened? He had seen that I was shooting and did not mind, so why should I be in a hurry to leave? So here's how the story continued. The shepherd decided it was time for the herd to move. So he started shouting at them, waving his hands. Then came the moment I took the photo I needed. Someone looking at the frame will say, "Oh, it was his luck again." Could be. But if I hadn't waited till that moment, then this frame wouldn't be there either. Here the shepherd is like a conductor in front of his orchestra, right? A moment that was worth waiting for. I must admit here, in order to take this frame, I had to give the best of me. First of all, this is a fairly well-known place, and shots were taken here by so many photographers you can't even imagine. In a scenario like this, you have two options. Either not to shoot at all, or to try to shoot as it was not filmed before. I think my interpretation worked. Such perspective from here I haven't seen yet. There was another problem behind the scenes. The plot was changing all the time, literally every second. The light was disappearing. Last but not least, the moment when you need to choose a photo. You have only one try. You need to make it correctly. You need not to make a mistake. Keep in mind that in our world, in the world of photography, this is considered as a separate skill for a reason. For a reason as well, there are people who are specialized in it, the photo editors. Timing, in fact, is the most important thing in our photo world. Take a look at this photo. If I had pressed the button a second earlier or a second later, the end of the game, just no frame. Okay, let's not be that hard on ourselves. We would have a photo as well, a photo that could be shown, just times weaker than the one I'm showing you right now. The story behind the scenes. I was walking with my camera as usual. At the moment, I saw a man coming, and the first thing that caught my eye was the face. Of course, the shirt as well. I decided that I was going to shoot. Just, it was really important to take the most out of the moment. What I came up with? I wanted to link the pattern of the shirt with the similar pattern on the building. The main point was not to miss the moment. It was not either by chance or by mistake that the person was shot in an empty sky. A moment later, he would have merged with the building, and again, end of the game. You really need to train how to use the second, that you have at your disposal. It may help you take a really good photo or lose a very good photo. Here is another example about a place and taking the most out of it. Here I even asked to shoot from inside the store. I said, I really like the fence. It's a beautiful one. I want to shoot with the reflection of the shop window. Would you let me in? As you may guess, the saleswoman looked strange at me. Of course, but let me in. A minute in advance, I had seen that this man was walking in my direction. And here's the result. I started after that walking along the fence, found the angle I needed, and waited for passers-by. I'm really happy that I'm constantly not happy with myself, that I'm always trying to get the most out of the chosen place. This frame is the reward for my patience. But you need to be prepared just because of this. Very often you will format the memory card. This does not always work and miracles do not happen every day. However, you are practicing shot after shot. Keep it in mind. Day after day, you are simply getting better. You can of course make a compromise for the sake of saving a photo, but it's my sincere advice, be more critical of yourself. This is the only way to develop, not speaking about photography only. Moments like these are really necessary. I'm trying to take the most out of them. I analyze where I failed, how I should have done it, what I didn't pay attention to. Why I'm showing you this selection of photos? Well, take a look at the overall atmosphere. It was calm, it was dark, I had the time I needed. I could have done it better. Yes, not a bad photo here, but nothing special at the same time. Here comes another interesting example. In short, if you keep waiting, something would come out of the situation. What is going on here behind the scenes? Believe it or not, I was waiting here for almost half an year. Don't take me wrong and don't imagine that I put up a tent here or something like that, living on the street with my camera only. Nothing like that, of course. I was passing here for work. When I saw this place and took a couple of photos with a telephone lens, I was sure that something would come here. I did like it, and I imagined how cool it would be for a girl, be careful about this, a girl to pass there in a beautiful summer, in a red dress, and most preferably with a small dog. Whenever possible, I started coming to this place then and now, waiting for the desired plot. Sometimes I came 3 to 4 times a week, sometimes once a month. So winter came. I, as usual, was ready with the camera. My hands cold and tired, I constantly keeping the camera ready and shooting those who pass. Then the moment came. Suddenly something was going on, some tension, a car, a dog. This is what you see in the photo. A guy with a dog crosses a pedestrian zebra crossing and the taxi driver just brazenly passes without letting them pass. And here's the result. When I hear about this photo, well, he was lucky, look at that moment. Yes, I was lucky. I just think with a smile. Well, yes, starting with the girl in the red dress and ending with this strange winter plot. Call it luck, if you want. I'm really satisfied I could take the most, at least for now, from this exact place. I chose it, I wished for it, I wanted something to happen. So it worked. Do agree, a completely different scenario from the one that was in my mind, but I liked it the way it went. Just shoot, this is my sincere advice. Let your imagination free and pull the camera out. Sooner or later, you will be rewarded and pleasantly surprised for your patience at work. This can be done in 5 seconds, or, as in this case, for a slightly longer period, at around 6 months. But it will happen. Just get out of your cozy home. Something else worth sharing here. Take a look at this pre-selection. These photos have passed the initial round, let's say it like that. My first task is always to delete the ones that can be deleted. Although I'm trying not to shoot a lot, there are times when I can't cope with it. The problem is that later on, I simply don't know what to delete, what to save, and which picture to choose. Hard times, in other words. As a result, all of my external disks are already full. But back to the photo. Here it is again a matter of timing. The general scenario. I have a vague idea in my mind what I want. Just as usual, I don't know what I will get. I was squatting, I was standing on my toes, I was taking a couple of steps in this or in that direction. In other words, I was looking for my place, for my story, for my moment. Here's another example of timing in practice. I was trying till the moment when what I wanted was in front of my eyes and in my camera. I try, train, and hope that my idea would turn into a real story. Here you can see the right legs in action. In the photo on the left, the step is less beautiful, let me call it that way, and the step on the photo on the right is very elegant. For me personally, this is very important. The wrong position of the legs can ruin everything, literally. Remember, at the very beginning, we started this video with examples where legs were present. Shooting legs is a separate genre even, so important it really is. As we started talking about legs, another perspective here. This photo was taken recently. Please note that it is not straight, it is crooked. At the same time, I'm not 100% sure here that the central composition is the best choice in the scenario. Well, just take a look at the gait, at the way he's walking, as if he's flying, right? Actually, the last time I remember myself walking like that was when I was coming back from school without homework for the other day. Because of that exactly, because of the emotion, the moment, and despite of the shortcomings, I decided to let this photo be. I decided to show it. Yes, just for the sake of the body language, proper gait and mood.